So welcome YouTube to Rest of Designs. In today's video is part 8 of Project Donuts, and as you can see by the outside, hopefully it's I'm not in the UK, it's finally made it. This video is going to be a bit of a mishmash of bits and pieces because it was all a bit kind of last minute and a bit of a rush, and also people have been dying to see what this sounds like. This thing sounds absolute nuts. Hopefully you can hear it. So what we're going to do today, like I said, is going to be a bit of a mashup of bits and pieces, and then also, now that I'm here and I've got it here, I need some pops and bangs, so I'm going to do some overrun adjustment on this, as well as on the long journey. It felt like you could do with a bit more spark at light throttle to give me a bit more torque for cruising around. Also, I noticed that the final drive that's in this, which is a 3.3 final drive, and because it's got the E36 gearbox, fifth gear is 1-to-1, which is really short if you know your gearboxes. So I did a bit of research and I saw that you can actually fit the medium case E36 pinion and gear into the E30 housing. So as it so happens, I saw on eBay there's a guy selling a 2.9 final drive, pinion and gear, and he's actually in Portugal, in Lisbon. So I'm going to message this guy and pick that up so I can actually at a later date put that in there as well, because this thing was way too short. I was cruising at about 80 miles an hour at 4,000. So for this car with this kind of power, no. You know, you want to do 80 about 3,000. I don't know if I need to work it out actually on the calculator to see if the 2.9 will get me where I want to be, but I probably don't want to go any lower than 2.9 anyway. So let's see where that actually leaves me. So let me just pull over now. I've got my laptop with me. Plug it into the Mega Squirt, and do some adjustments on this, and then we'll jump on into the video of the little bits and pieces I had to get done just before I left. Right, so I plugged the Mega Squirt in, and let me go to open up because another thing also, before I get into the spark and overrun, I also noticed that my settings, the ECU was getting quite warm, more than quite warm should I say. So I think I've done a bit of reading. Definitely need to check my earth terminals and double check the earthing, as well as a lot of the stuff came as well, which is the ignition dwell settings. So I had a look online, and originally, so I've changed these numbers in here. At the moment it says 2.5, and the maximum spark duration is 0.6. So originally what it had a 3.5, and so I've changed that, and it seems to start a lot better, as well as I'm going to change this one as well. I see a lot of people run 1 or 1.2 milliseconds, so I'm just going to run 1 millisecond in here. burn to ECU. So that's done. And then let's just give it a crank. Okay, so let's see how it starts with that setting. Okay, so that made a difference, definitely, that I don't have an extended crank. It seems to definitely start up a lot nicer, a lot quicker with that 1 millisecond, so that's good. Right, so we made those changes to the dwell setting. It definitely seems to start up a lot better, so I guess once I've taken it back for a drive, I'll see if the ECU warms up as much as it did, because I think the ignition drivers are in the ECU and they were getting quite warm. The next thing I wanted was to do was ignition table. It's a pretty basic table here. It's basically what the car had in it. I haven't really changed it too much. What the car does do, it does feel flat. So 100 kPa is basically atmosphere, and then obviously anything over that is boost. So the car feels flat around these kind of areas here, around this kind of thing. I mean, this 19 is definitely too low here, this 20 here, so I'm going to bump that up a little bit to 22, probably bump that up to 20 in there. And where else can I maybe give it a little bit of a boost? 100 kPa, maybe that could actually be 17.5, and in there could probably be 21. So burn that to the ECU. So an overrun, basically when you come off the throttle. I wouldn't mind, not pops and bangs because I don't want to add fuel in, but maybe just a little burble, nothing too aggressive. So probably around this kind of range between 2.3, or not even 2.3, yeah, 2, why not? Between 2.3 and 4.5, what we'll do is we'll put in some low numbers in here, zeros basically, on overrun. Basically retarding the ignition, and gives us a little bit of a pop and bang situation going on around there. So maybe around here we'll just drop it to 15 instead of 34. That won't give us any pops and bangs, but it maybe give us a little burble around here. Give it a little try. I mean, you can put negative numbers in there, you know, like -5 and stuff, but then you literally are. So let's try these numbers, and if it burbles or not. I think that'll be it for, let's burn this as well before I unplug the ECU. I mean, before I unplug the laptop, sorry. Okay, so close all this down. Let's go for a drive. So in today's video, I'm going to be dealing with these engine mounts and gearbox mounts, or lack of gearbox mounts and engine mounts, because it's got actually hockey pucks as engine mounts, and it's got a solid bar on the rear of the gearbox mounting, literally solid bar that goes onto the gearbox straight onto the body of the car. So today I'm going to be sorting those issues out. And also Tim's back from holidays, so we're going to be doing some mapping as well with this, and hopefully I'll be able to sort out the sound, because a few people were saying they couldn't hear it because I put music over it, and there was a reason for that. There was 2 reasons. One, I had the window open, so you had the wind sound, so you couldn't actually hear anything. The other sound that you could hear was basically, you know, the car just resonating obviously the engine and gearbox being so solidly mounted. So hopefully today you will be able to actually hear this whooshing and dumping and on boost and stuff. Okay, let's get back into this. These are engine mounts to make sure that the height is right before I make up the rear gearbox mount. So we're going to start at the front first and then work our way to the gearbox. Right, so I took the hockey pucks off, and what they've done is, so as you can see, they've actually used a small hockey puck and a slightly thinner one to actually make up the same size. So that's pretty cool actually. But yeah, it's very crude with this longer bolt, which wasn't even threaded all the way. And they had to put washers and a nut at the top of it to actually make up the difference so that the nut would actually bolt, and it didn't actually seem very tight. So as well as it being on the hockey puck, I think it was also loose as well. So these are the standard engine mounts. I've got Febby ones, which are really quite good quality. So yep, just gonna quickly bolt these on. It's a 5-minute job really, the front on these. Okay, so I've cut the original bracket up. It's a bit rough around the edges, so I've had to kind of lash it up. Now, one thing I did notice is I think they forced the gearbox originally to kind of rotate. That's why the engine was a bit issue. I had a bit of an issue. This shouldn't actually be sitting that high up. You can see it's sitting anti-clockwise, kind of rotating this way round, whereas this mount should be even with this one. And the angle's totally wrong. I'm assuming, because this is an E36 gearbox, that the engine originally on the E36 sits at a slightly different angle. Now, I haven't really looked into it too much, but I assume there's quite a few people running these E36 gearboxes in the E30s. But are they running them on the M20 engine, or are they using obviously the M50 or the M52 engines or whatever from the E36 to match the gearbox? Because this, as it stands, doesn't work. Well, I'm not happy with it. I mean, if it is what it is, then it is what it is, but I just need to actually clarify if this is how it's meant to be sitting, or if I need to change the actual mounts, sorry, the brackets that sit on the block, if they need to be rotated around. But I'm sure the engine is going to look quite odd as well if it's actually rotated, and probably hit the bonnet as well, the inlet manifold or the throttle body, because it's going to be rotated clockwise, which is not going to be perfect. So maybe this is how it's meant to be, I'm not sure. So anyway, as this is now, the angle of the engine is perfect. It's also sitting lower here at the back, because I think it was way too high before, so the prop shaft was not at the right angle potentially. So, and putting pressure on the gearbox on this donut as well. So I guess the proof is in the pudding. Let's go and see what this actually drives like now. So here they are, side by side, the standard one. I wonder what insert is in here. Bump stop looks dead. That bump stop in that is actually on the inside because it's an inverted shock. So Tim has very kindly machined these down so they fit on that shoulder. And now it's just a matter of he's going to machine the cups so the springs can fit as well. Look, fresh from the mill, perfect, both of them. Thank you, Tim. And I can just put those on. So there it is. Got my H&R modified gas coilover setup. So like I said, Tim very kindly on the lathe machined down the spring platform and the cup as well. And that's a 7-inch spring, and it's £400. It came off my Mark IV track car, and they've put it all on, and that's done. So it'll be interesting to see when it goes on the floor how much it lowers it, but at least I have some adjustability now, so that's really cool. Also, if I need to put a longer spring, I do have a longer spring, but I'm sure that'll be fine. And these are the discs. So onto the disc conversion. So it's a 4x100 disc, and it's actually 316, and this is actually off the Mini R56 John Cooper Works which runs a Brembo. So these discs are actually good to run a 4-pot. Not all discs are equal. I mean, you can, a lot of people put like on the, you know, 4 pots on a disc that should be only run a single piston, and the heat that's generated due to the 4 pots, you know, the discs need different kind of cooling inside and all the rest of it. So, you know, it's sometimes not very good actually to run a single piston disc on something that's more powerful on a 4-port caliper. So these are off the Mini, John Cooper Works. And again, Tim very kindly for me had to machine the center bore out because it wouldn't fit. The Mini one is a different size, so now that fits perfectly. So that fits perfectly on there. Let me line them holes up, as you can see, and it's perfect for 100 disc on there. Now, next thing we need to do is this original. This is the original spacer or caliper carrier that went on there. So now we need to get one made up. So I'm gonna get one water cut, and obviously these holes, instead of being here, will be slightly further away. I calculate more or less about 18 mil higher. The difference between obviously the 280 disc and these 316 mil discs. If you split that, the difference in half gives you 18 mil. So this needs to go 18 mil further up. So now I'm just gonna quickly get Tim to do a CAD drawing for me, and then we'll get these water cut in alley. So yeah, so it's back in the workshop, back at HQ, at Wrestler Designs HQ. And again, like I said, it was a bit of a mismatch video. Also, I've broken my schedule of Sundays and Wednesdays. It's Monday. This might even come out on Tuesday. I'm not sure if it will come out today or not. But yeah, I'll be back on form, and you'll at least get 1 video a week now, if not 2. Let me see how things go. I've got a lot to get on with, so there's definitely a lot of videos to do. And also, I'm going to be jumping back onto the how-tos, as well as there will be a video back on my daily driver as well as a Mark II project, Golf, which I'm going to be doing as well. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe, ding-a-ling-a-ling, click on that notification bell, and be safe.